G'day there, Phil McGilvray here, financial mentor, financial wellbeing consultant, and founder of the Money Boss movement, where we make financial education fun, practical, and easy to understand so that you and your family can thrive financially. And today, we are looking at investment apps. More specifically, beginner-friendly investment apps. We're going to look at the pros, we're going to look at the cons, we're going to look at the features of each of them so that you can decide which one is best for you. Okay, so let's have a look at investment app number one, and that is Raise. Now, Raise is easily the leader in terms of user and friendly investment apps, in terms of having the best interface, the most colorful interface, the one that is most intuitive to use. Now, some key features of Raise is that it has, I'll just scroll down here, you can see you've got a feature called roundups, which is where if you link your bank account to your link Raise to your everyday bank account transaction, every time you spend some money, it rounds that transaction up to the nearest dollar, takes the extra cash and invests it for you in your chosen portfolio. Second thing we've got here, and very importantly, is you've got like an auto invest feature, which allows you to set up an investment feature every month where money is deducted from your bank account and direct debit from your bank account and put into your investment app. Auto investing is absolutely key to long-term investing. You want to be able to, in many ways, set and forget your portfolio so that it's just ticking along in the background. And then, of course, at any time, you can add lump sums to your portfolio as well. If we have a look down here, to scroll past here, you can see that Raise has 8 different investment options. It's got 5 portfolios that are built for different risk tolerances of investors. So if you're a very conservative investor, there's a portfolio for you. If you're a very aggressive investor, and aggressive is probably the wrong word, if you're a long-term investor and you understand the ups and downs, then they have a more aggressive, and there's everything in between with those 5 standard portfolios. Then they've got the Emerald portfolio, which is a socially responsible portfolio. A Sapphire portfolio, which is very unique in that it actually has Bitcoin as part of that portfolio. And then there's also a property portfolio. So you've really only got 8 options within Raise to invest in. But sometimes that's not a bad thing because it takes the overwhelm away and you can easily decide which one you want to invest in. You can also pick and choose and have a little bit of each. And if we have a look at the fees here, you can see that Raise is charging a flat rate of $4.50 per month for portfolios under $20,000. And if you have more than $20,000 in your portfolio, it's 0.275% per year. Now, that is for the standard portfolios. Once you move to the Plus portfolio or the Sapphire portfolio or the property portfolio, those fees do increase a little bit. And the thing that I really love about Raise is that they have a kids feature. So this is, you can set up a kids portfolio with as little as $5. The kids can get hands-on access to their portfolio so they can choose which investments they're going to be in and they can watch it grow. They can set up either an auto invest into their investment, or they can put lump sums when grandma gives them money for Christmas and those sorts of things. And they can also personalize their portfolios. So this is a really positive way to help your kids learn about investing, learn about money, and obviously build some wealth for the future as well. So there are 5 really big pros to using the Raise investment app to get started investing. The first one of those being is that the user interface is super intuitive and very easy to use. The second one being is that you can start with as little as $5. The third one being that the investment options are very limited. So there's not much room for overwhelm, not much room to put it in the too hard basket. It just means you can choose one and you can get started. The fourth really big pro is that they have a kids option, which is perfect for getting your kids started. And the last one being that the fees are very easy to understand and relatively low. So let's have a look at the cons of investing in the Raise investment app. The biggest one I would suggest is the fees. Now, I know I just said that they're relatively low and easy to understand, and that is true, but it depends on the size of your portfolio. If you're just getting started investing, then the chances are that $4.50 per month is going to be a fairly big chunk of your portfolio. So ideally, you want to try and get your portfolio to at least $500 to $1,000 as quickly as possible, so that fee is relatively small. Then the second con is that there are limited options in terms of your investments. Now, that's good to get started, but as your portfolio grows and as you grow in experience, you're probably going to want a broader range of investment options. And the last con is that even though they've got this roundup feature, which is a big attraction for many people, especially new investors, it really doesn't add up to much. It's not going to make you wealthy. It really is just more a gimmick. So there we go, the pros, the cons, and all the features of Raise. Okay, and the second beginner investment app is Perler. Now, I absolutely love Perler because it has been designed with the beginner in mind, but it has also been designed as a platform for long-term investing. So this can be your home throughout your investment life cycle. And in fact, if we go down here, I think it says that your one-stop financial platform for every stage of life. Education is a big focus of their entire platform, but importantly too, it gives you a much broader range of investments. So we can see here you can invest in Australian shares, you can invest in international shares, as well as exchange traded funds on both those platforms. What we can also see here is you can have, if you wanted the simplicity that was provided by Raise, you can get it here too with their micro investing option here. So if we have a look, for as little as $5, you can also invest in a range of pre-made exchange traded funds, exactly the same as you could for Raise. Also, you can see that their pricing is very low at just $2 per month, which is less than half what it was with Raise. Now, if we go back to the key features, you'll also notice, I'll just scroll back to the next page here. We can also see that it has a setup, so scroll down, a setup for kids so that you can get your kids started investing as well in the same way Raise has got that set up. It gives you an option to automate your investing, which again, I love. So you can be a lump sum or you can have automated investing. So they're the key features of Perler, and as you can probably tell, I really do love Perler because it is there for every stage of life. It's got the education to walk you through it. It's not so flashy as Raise, but it is very, very functional. So what are the pros of using the Perler investment platform to get started investing? Well, there are plenty. The first one is that it is set up for beginners. It is very easy to use. The second one is that you can get access to both Australian shares and US shares and exchange traded funds. The third one is that has a micro investing app option as well. So if you want to start very simple, you certainly can. The fourth one is that the fees are very low. And the fifth one is that it has a kids feature to help you get your kids started investing. And if we have a look at the cons, well, there aren't really too many. If you want to be an active trader, it's really not set up for active trading. It's set up for long-term investing. And the second one is that it has a very functional but not flashy user interface. So if you're after something pretty, Perler's probably not it. But that's pretty much all I could find in terms of the negatives for Perler. So let's have a look at the third beginner investment app now, and that is Sharesies. Now, as you can see on the screen here in big bold writing, Sharesies says hands-on investing. And that is perhaps the differentiator between Sharesies and the other two platforms, is that it is built for active investors, people that want to buy and sell shares on a regular basis or trade shares, who want to be able to move their portfolios around with ease. That is what Sharesies is all about, and that is very much how they're set up. So they've got trigger orders and stop loss orders and those sorts of things which you can't get on the other platforms. They also have auto investing, which is an important feature, and they have capped transaction fees on all of their portfolios, and you can choose what level of cap you want on your portfolio. So they're the key features of Sharesies. As I said, if you want to be a much more active investor, this is probably the platform for you. You can get access to Australian shares, US shares, and New Zealand shares, and the exchange traded funds that are also listed on those platforms. The pros of investing with Sharesies is that if you want to be an active investor, it has a much broader range of investments. It also has the stop loss, the trigger order features for you to be able to actively trade and manage your risk within those trades. And it does have a capped price transactions, which means that you can trade regularly and know exactly what you're going to end up paying. That is a pro for it. So what are the cons of using the Sharesies platform to get started investing? Well, the first really big one is that it's really set up for active investors who want to move their investments around on a regular basis. And as a beginner investor, that's probably not the mentality you want to start your investing journey with. The second really big con is that there are way too many investment options if you're a beginner investor. It can be very confusing and very overwhelming, and often that leads to paralysis, which means we don't do anything. So sometimes having less options is actually a good thing. And then the last one is, and this is a big one, is that the pricing was really confusing. Unlike Perler or Raise, who had these set fees, Sharesies had different options to cap your transaction fees at. And there was a calculator down here to help you work out, well, how much does that mean you're likely to pay in fees? And it was all just a little bit too confusing and a little bit too clever for my way of thinking. So those are the big cons, or those are the three cons associated with investing via the Sharesies app. So the big question now, of course, is, well, which one of these platforms is the best one for you to start your investing journey? Now, I'm hoping that as I went through the features and the pros and the cons of each, you started to get a bit of a feel for which one would suit your needs best. But here is a very quick summary. If you're just starting your investment journey, you've got no idea about investing, you're relatively young, you want an app that's going to be pretty cool to use and easy to use, then Raise is probably a good place to start because it does have limited investment options. The fees are relatively low and it's fun to be able to track your investments on that app. So that's probably where I would start if I was a beginner investor. If, however, you're thinking, well, I want a platform that is going to allow me to invest throughout my lifetime, that is going to allow me to set up auto invest, that is giving me a good range of investment options, but not too many, and that has low fees, then definitely Perler is the best option. But if you are looking at being active, if you like the idea of buying and selling shares and moving from one exchange traded fund to another and so on, then definitely have a look at Sharesies. Now, if you found this video helpful, please click the like button because that helps this video reach more people. And don't forget to subscribe because every week I release more practical money videos answering the most common questions I get asked by my clients. To sum it up, there is no such thing as a perfect investment app or perfect investment platform that suits everyone's needs. It's about you finding the app that meets your budget, your goals, and your style of investing. The good news is that investing has never been easier or more accessible. So get started, start small, because the best investment is the one you actually make. Thanks for watching. If this has been helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And remember, you are closer to being a money boss than you think. See you next week.